Hey and welcome. It's Sheeta D. It's me coming to you today from Mexico City, where I live. And today I'm talking to you about the reasons why I moved here. I've got 10 reasons. If you don't know me, if you're new to the channel, I'm a career break coach. What does that mean? I teach women how to leave toxic work environments and instead plan for a trip around the world. Now, some of my women don't want to take a trip around the world. They just want to leave toxic work environments. I specialize in that. So whether you want to travel, which I think everyone should do, you want to explore all around the world, or whether you're like, I just want to stay home and not work, or I want a staycation, I want a 3-month staycation. Doesn't that sound awesome? Well, it may not sound awesome now in the middle of the pandemic when you've been home. But in regular times, a 3-month staycation is like, woo, ideal. If you want more information about the services I provide, I'll put a link in the description so you can grab that information. All right, let's get to the first reason I moved to Mexico City, the cost of living. I can't say enough about how much I don't want to pay the price it costs to live in America. And a lot of us in America are working really hard in order to afford living in America. The average cost of living based on information from Earth Awaits for Mexico City for a month is $1,200, which is significantly less than I was paying when I lived in the Bay Area, significantly. And it's a lot less than my cost of living would have been if I stayed in Florida where I was last year. So the fact that your dollar goes really far here is important. The cost of living is a great attraction point. Now, if you're interested in Mexico overall, Mexico City isn't going to be your cheapest choice in Mexico. As far as Mexico goes, Mexico City is a pretty expensive city, but I've got 9 other reasons that I love Mexico City, so the cost isn't the only factor. When I'm in Mexico City, I have pretty much no tension and no stress. There are no external stressors on my life. I never have to worry if coming into my apartment, someone is going to call the police on me because I don't think I belong here. Because people here mind their own business. Isn't that strange? Minding your own business. It's a blessing. Walking down the street, I might get some looks from people, but I don't get stares. No one asks me questions. No one questions my right to be anywhere. No one interacts with me. People might say hi or hello, or if I've got the hair out every once in a while, people will like be more interested in me and maybe say something like, but it's always like, beautiful hair. It's not like, Negro, do you belong here? Like that doesn't happen here. No matter where, like I go to the high-end stores and the high-end malls and I am treated like someone who belongs there. I go to the low-end stores, I go to the local markets, and people are just like, you here, spend your money. Like there's no, and a lot of us might, when you're living in the US, you might not realize as a Black woman, you probably do realize, but until you get out of it, you don't realize how heavy it can be all the time. My mom was here in January and she went home, in December and January, and she went home in January, and she, like the day after she got home, she was at the post office. She was like, people are so rude to each other. I don't know what's going on. She's like, I went to the post office, I went to the grocery store. There's just so much tension in the air. And that tension in the air isn't down here. And if it is, it's in Spanish. So I don't understand it. And I love that for me. The number 3 reason, arts and culture. Mexico City is a world-class city. It has more museums than any other city in the world. Now, if you look at a list of cities that have the most museums in the world and they don't put Mexico City on that list, because I saw one of those lists yesterday, that's racism. Mexico City is amazing. There are so much going on. You will never be bored. There is always something to do. And I love that in a city. The energy here is amazing. It's a big city. It's a big city with like more people than it can hold. So there's that energy that comes from like people being squished. A lot of people, but it's also like a very, very big, I keep saying it's a big city, but what I mean is like there's so many different neighborhoods you can check out. There are so many different, like I said, museums. There is always a cultural event happening. There's always something you can see and experience that you've never experienced before. And so in non-pandemic times, I lived here in Mexico City in 2019. So during that time, when things were open, it was like there is never a loss of things to do. And I love that. Number 4, my 4th reason also relates to it being a world-class city. The food here is amazing. The food in Mexico City, y'all, the food in Mexico City is amazing at the 5-star restaurants. It's amazing on the streets. It will knock your socks off in the marketplaces. Wherever you eat, it's gonna be good. Wherever you go, you're going to see something you want to eat. It's just like there's food everywhere and you're going to want it all. If you haven't been to Mexico City before, come with your appetite because they will feed you well, they will feed you cheaply for the most part, unless you're going to like a Michelin star restaurant. And it is going to change your experience with Mexican food. I love it. The 5th reason I love being here is I love being in Mexico in general because when I earn dollars, I earn US dollars, and when I spend money, I spend pesos. And the US dollar goes much further than the Mexican peso goes. And so what I'm getting for my US dollar, I'm leveraging it in a way that I am making an income and spending a little bit. So it kind of relates to the cost of living, but the cost of living wouldn't have been a draw down here if I was making pesos. But because when I earn money, I earn dollars, I get to leverage those US dollars and get more for my buck than I would if I was in the US, and I get more pesos to spend than if I was working in Mexico and getting pesos. And so wherever you go around the world, this is a good point. If you go somewhere where you can leverage the US dollar, still make US dollars, but spend money in a lower cost of living city, you can really take advantage of that and save money quicker, pay off debt quicker. Really, it's a great way if you want to pay more attention to your finances, if you have a debt repayment plan, if your goal is to save money this year, it is a great way to do that, is to go somewhere with a lower cost of living so you can earn US dollars and spend local money. So just something to think about. Number 6, I told you earlier that I feel welcome down here, that people don't bother me, they are friendly. If anyone speaks to me, it is either a transaction where I'm buying something or a woman at the grocery store is like, it's time to pay. Now she might not be that friendly, but she's doing her job, I'm doing my thing, it's no big deal. Or people on the street who will like, either look at me, say hi, not say hi, but all of my interactions down here, 98% of my interactions down here are positive. And that actually includes with the police. So the police in Mexico City don't want to be bothered. They don't. That's the best way I can describe it. They are minding their own business. If there is a crime, they're gonna mount up. And it's gonna, like, you're gonna get descended, there like 1,000 of them are gonna descend on you. There are a lot of police, that's another point. There are a lot of police down here. And it's weird being in a place where there's a lot of police, because coming from the US, I tense up when I see a black woman coming from the US. I tense up when I see a police officer. I get very much like, what is this gonna be? But living in Mexico, that part of me has relaxed a bit. I don't feel any fear when I either see Mexican police officers or I interact with them, because they want to be left alone as much as I want to be left alone. So my only interactions I lived here 6 months in 2019, and I've been down here 3 months this time. My only interactions with police officers are when I go up to them and I ask them for something, and they help me without, like, there's no stress, there's no tension, there's no leave me alone. It's like, oh, you don't know the directions to go to that place? Okay, what you do is you go there and you go that way. Like, there's no, they will help you. They will not bother you. That's a good thing to know. They will help you if you need help. They are not going to bother you when you're walking down the street doing your own thing. Now, if you come down here, like, there's a lot of police at all the events here. So if you come down here for New Year's and you're breaking the rules and you're being rowdy, one of the police officers will probably be like, get your shit together and stop doing this. But if you're just minding your own business, let me tell you, these police will mind their own business too. I walk past them all, like, there's, like I said, a lot of police down here. I don't know if it's the paperwork they don't want to do or what it is, but it's usually two of them together talking to each other. Unless you go up to them, they are not going up to you. Oh, that actually reminds me of a good story. The other day I was on a corner waiting for my Uber, and I saw a police officer getting into it with a citizen. They were in each other's face. Now, 3 police cars and 4 police motorcycles had pulled up at the bank across the street from where I was. They walked in with an empty cardboard box and walked out with the same empty cardboard box. So I don't know why they ran up there with their sirens. Like, sirens were on and they all kind of swooped in, and then we couldn't really tell what happened. So I said, when there's a police incident, they descend, and then it's like nothing. But anyway, for some reason, one of the police officers that went to the bank was getting into it with someone who came out of the paint store. I don't know why. One police officer was in this one guy's face, and they're arguing with each other about something in Spanish. And I don't have my telenovelas haven't gotten me up to the point where I can tell what people are arguing about yet. So I don't know what's going on. But all of these other police officers are minding their own business. There's, like, I told you the math. There's a lot of other police officers. There's at least 10 police officers on this corner right now. None of them are getting involved. These 2 guys are arguing, and the paint guy, his friend comes and tries to get him away. Like, he's pulling him back from the police officer. But both the police officer and the guy are arguing. They don't start fighting ever. But the other police officers there do not get involved. They do not come over. They look from where they are, but they're very much like, oh, that's his business. I do not know why they were arguing, whether it was police business, whether it was personal business. I don't know. But what I know is that in the US, that would have been 10 police officers on that one guy. In Mexico, it was like, everyone on the corner was like, y'all work that out. Except for the guy's friend who was like, stop arguing. Please stop trying to fight with this police officer and just come back to the store where we work. And so that's, for me, it was a reminder that the police don't just leave me alone because I am an obvious foreigner. The police leave everybody alone. If that, this Mexican guy wants to fight this Mexican police officer, that's one-on-one business. Like, that, they were like, this has nothing to do. I'll be over here in front of the bank just standing, watching. And I was like, I actually kind of appreciate that. I don't know what they're arguing about. I don't know what's happening, but neither one of them swung on each other, but though they looked like they were about to. And the other officers were like, we're chilling. Nothing to do with me. That wouldn't happen. I'm still shocked. Like, that would not happen in America. The guy would have been like clubbed in the head, or I don't know, pepper sprayed or something. Like, that doesn't, or shot. And so I do not have any fear of violence in the city. Now, there is crime, there is violence, but it's a huge city. There's crime everywhere. I feel safer in Mexico City than I did in Oakland, than I did in a lot of other cities, than I did in Columbus. Walking around, I don't walk much at night because I don't have night business outside. I have day business outside. I'm a day business person. But when I am outside, I'm good. People don't mess with me. People here are very good at minding their own business. And so if you mind your own business, they will too. I love it. My 7th reason for loving Mexico City is the weather. So in Mexico City, year round, the high is like low 80s, 81, 82, and the lows all year long are low 40s. So 80 to 40 is a range I can totally live with. The 40s don't happen often. When they do, I gotta admit that the buildings here aren't always well insulated. Unless you're in a hotel, you're probably fine if you're in a hotel. But if you've rented a place, it get a little cold. But there's no snow. And your girl used to live in the snow. So I'm very glad. I'm very glad that I am out of that. There's a rainy season in the summer. So like May, June to September. It rains. It feels like every day. It rains. And then for like 30 minutes and then it stops. We're high altitude, but overall, it's amazing weather year round. There's no really hot season, there's no really cold season. It's just a very temperate, dry climate, and it's where I want to be. Shoulder shimmy. A little praise break for this. All right. My 8th reason for loving Mexico City is kind of a reason that I love living abroad in general. I think that living in a country that you're not familiar with, especially when you're not familiar with the language, stretches you. It makes everything a little bit harder, a tiny bit. And that tiny bit harder is good for you. Like going to the grocery store, most of the time, I'm like, I got this. It's grocery shopping. Like, how hard can it be, right? And then every once in a while I get to the checkout and the woman says something and I'm like, I don't know what you're saying. Let's work through this together. And it's not just what people are saying, it's getting used to new cultures and new ways to do things. So moving abroad and living in a foreign country can really stretch you and give you an opportunity to grow. Think of it like that. So don't think of it as harder, but like it gives you an opportunity to grow in your knowledge of people, places, and things in a way that you won't get to experience if you stay in the same place all the time. And my 9th reason is related. This gives me a chance to immersively learn Spanish. Learning Spanish from a book, from a teacher, cool. Learning Spanish because I need to get on a bus, like learning the words I need to do this thing, challenging. But you learn, it's easier to learn like this. I just bought this couch, so learning the words I needed to buy a couch, including the word for couch, since I didn't know it. Sofa, by the way. Your couch is a sofa. That was pretty easy to learn. But learning the words as you go and as they're relevant to your life really helps you remember them a lot easier because you are here. I need to know what the word is for sofa because I need to buy a sofa. I probably will not forget sofa, obviously. But all the other words I learned in the furniture store too, like colchon for mattress, I will remember those because I had to learn them while I was buying a mattress. It's a really great way to learn another language, and sometime in the future I'd like to do that for French. I'd like to learn French in a French-speaking country. Not sure what that will be, not sure when that will be because I'm loving Mexico City right now. The 10th reason is because I'm happy here. Like, I visited Mexico City, I think 5 or more times before I moved here, and on the 5th time, I was here with a friend, and we left our hotel for a walk the first morning, and I was like, I love this city. I was looking around and I was like, I really love it here. Why don't I live here? And my friend was like, why don't you? Why don't I? When I was back in the US last year and I knew I was going to move back to Mexico City, I wanted to move back to Mexico, there was no question of any other city I want to live in Mexico City. There's something about being here with all the people I mentioned before. It creates this like bubbling energy all the time, and I love the vibes here. So find your happy place. Mexico City is my happy place. Find your happy place and go there. Find your happy place and move there. Like, your happy place is out there. If it's not where you're living right now, let's go find it. Okay, I've got a bonus 11th reason that I love Mexico City, and that it is a completely walkable city. On the Earth Awaits the walk score for Mexico City is 100 out of 100. You can walk anywhere. It's traffic is terrible. Traffic is terrible in the morning. Traffic is terrible at night. Traffic is probably terrible at 3 a.m., but I don't have 3 a.m. business. I mentioned that earlier. I'm in the house. But walking, I can walk to anything I need. Any store, there are like 2 Office Depots within like half a mile of me. I can walk to anything. I need a grocery store. I need a hairdresser. Maybe they don't do my hair, but there's one right across the street. There's something, whatever you need, you can walk to it from where you are, because there are so many different little stores, so many different mom and pop shops and big established places. There's so many US companies down here that if you want to go to a place you're familiar with, it might take a longer walk. But you can get there. It's just, I found a West Elm the other day when I was looking for furniture. Like there's everything is down here. So I guess that's it. There's nothing you can't get down here. Those are 2 things. So I'm gonna say 12. There's nothing you can't get down here, and you can walk to anything you want. You can't walk across the city. I'm not telling you that. But I'm saying that in your neighborhood, you can walk to anything you need to get. You can find it in your neighborhood, and it's walkable. So those are my 12 reasons for why I moved to Mexico. I plan on giving you 10, but the spirit moved me. Once again, my name is Sheeta D. I am a career break coach. I have lived in Mexico City twice. I've moved here twice. I got stories to tell about Mexico City and my experience here, including getting all my stuff stolen, which I've got a video of me crying over on Instagram, which I am not going to link to because you don't need that. But crying after I found out that I had all of my things stolen. Long story. You don't need it now. Please subscribe, share with your friends. If you're thinking about Mexico City, put some questions, drop them down. Let me know what your questions are. I absolutely love Mexico City. I love the community down here. I love life down here. So subscribe, give this video a thumbs up if it helped you at all, if you're thinking about Mexico City, and let me know any questions you have. Awesome, talk to you next time, bye.